Oh, pardon me.
Pardon you, Pepsi Max doing its wonders on you there.
It is. I can't remember what I'm saying, Dave. I'm too tired. Can't even say that word.
Trajectory.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go. Manchester, brace yourself.
Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the I Ready podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek. With me is my co-host Dave, and unlike David Tanner, none of us are media types.
Yeah, I think you've hit a raw nerve with old David Tanner today. He was accusing you of name calling and all of that, where you were basically not specifically calling him names. It was more of a general thing, but that's the way that he took it and went in the huff and sent you a few poisonous replies to reply that he put on as well. So no, I thought it was quite enjoyable reading, to be perfectly honest with you.
I was amused with it, Dave, but we will get into it later in the news because it does follow a news story. So we will get into that. But Dave, it's going to be a fairly happy podcast. In fact, it's going to be an ecstatic podcast, especially after last night's result. We've got some great results and great performances to talk about, Dave. Makes a change.
Oh, it's been a long time coming, Derek. It really has. How depressed have we been in the last few pods? And, you know, it's been a complete downer. But for a change, we've got some actual quality performances to talk about and some incredible goals as well. So it's going to be a good one.
Yes. So without further ado, we'll go down the tunnel and onto the park. So the first of the three games we've got to cover tonight, Wednesday the 4th of December, it was a 6-0 win at home against Kilmarnock in the Premiership. So Dave, kind of speechless at this one because everything just clicked. It worked. He's changed his formation. He's changed his tactics. And look what happens. We're getting results.
Yep, as you say, formation, tactics and personnel. And we've actually got people that are putting the ball in the back of the net, which we've been desperate for. But we're trying not to get carried away. But certainly this game that you're about to get into, we thought it was maybe going to be another turgid performance where we would win by one goal. But as you're about to get into, it was complete dominance from start to finish. Just before we get into the game, you said words there, we're not getting carried away, and certainly after this game, that's the way we were feeling. But after then the Ross County game and the Tottenham game last night, I wouldn't say we're getting carried away, but we're starting to get a wee bit more belief about the team now. Don't jinx it. That'll be all undone on Sunday, mind you, if it doesn't go our way, but we'll get into that as it comes. But anyway, in the Kilmarnock game, we lined up Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Jeffrey, Raskin, Diamande, Hadji, Cherny, Egeman and Danilo. On the subs bench we had Kelly, Ridvan, Proper, Barron, Dessers, Barami, Dowell, King and McCausland. So the first thing to say, Dave, two strikers, and quite early on we noticed a change in shape, a change in direction, and just the whole team focused on going forward. Yes, it was breathtaking to say the least. Yep. On the 5th minute, it was a lovely quick move going forward, played to Eggman in the box, who stumbles. The ball falls to Cherny, who gets to the touchline, dinks it back to Eggman, who shoots, hits the side net, and has to do better on that one there. 7th minute, Eggman has a shot that went just over the bar. 14th minute, a corner in from the right, flick to the back post to the middle to Suter, who balloons it over the bar from a volley from close range. It was a bit behind him, but a huge chance, and he needs to be putting that on target. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say the game went flat after that. We were in complete control, but we never really had very many chances until the 37th minute when we went 1-0 up with Tavernier scoring. It was a throw-in to Hadji, who looks up, a lovely long ball to the back post, who found Tav sliding into the back post, and he gets a volley into the back of the net. There was a long VAR check, but he was clearly on, and the goal was given. No idea what the VAR check was for because it was clearly onside. But Dave, you said it before. Tavernier, when he makes the darting runs into the back post, we normally get something from it. This was a trademark from him, Dave. Yeah, it was. And we said before, it was basically when he was on form, doing this regularly a few seasons ago. It was like a cheat code for us. It was an out ball which very few defenders are tracking, other defenders attacking, if you know what I mean, when it's not a set piece. And it was always something that he had in his locker, and we've not seen it for so long. So absolutely delighted that we had that again. And it's as if possibly the manager's been looking at how to try and deploy James Tavernier at his best, and certainly that was the start of it. And from there, we never really looked back, did we?
No. 40th minute, Tierney with a cross on the deck from the right. Igman with a lovely back heel flick forces the keeper into a good save and out for the corner. That's something that was brilliant, I thought, because there's something trying it out of the ordinary. A wee back heel flick, and we nearly get a goal from it. So, 44th minute, long cross into the middle of the box, right to Danilo, who has a lovely header right at the keeper, forces a good save. It was headed at pace, so unlucky that one there. And to round out the half, 45th minute, Diomande with a long shot, but it went well wide. So at that point, only 1-0 up at half time. But I was content, Dave. I wasn't worried and I wasn't panicked because we were in complete control. Kilmarnock offered absolutely nothing. And you could see there was something different about the team. So I wasn't worried in the slightest, like I would have normally been at 1-0.
Yep, 100%.
But Dave, the second half was an absolute joy to behold. I'm just going to cover the goals here because we were outstanding the whole half. We had a number of chances, could have been a lot more goals. But in the 53rd minute, we made it 2-0 with Danilo scoring. There was a chance that wasn't cleared. Tierney in the middle near the box, who went out wide to Hadji, who takes it forward. A lovely low cross into the box, and it finds Danilo, who hits it in. Brilliant.
Yep, great goal for him. Delighted. And as you say, us on the front foot for the whole of the second half, and getting that early goal in the second half just set us on our way.
A couple of minutes later, we made it 3-0 with Igman scoring. We passed it forward near the Kelly goal. It hits off the heel of the defender, falls to Igman, who takes control, shuffles one way, and then a fantastic shot into the bottom right corner past the keeper. Maybe a wee bit of fortune the way it fell to us, but we still had to get it forward in the first place, and it was great skill from Igman. This guy is showing what he can do.
Again, I'm trying not to get carried away with him, but just everything that I'm seeing about the guy, it just looks as if we've got something special here. And as you say, he's got one thought in his mind when he gets into that position, is getting a shot on target, and that's exactly what he done, and he got his just desserts as well. Great stuff.
Yes. 61st minute, we went 4-0 up with Tierney scoring. Raskin gets the ball on the left side, just outside the box. He takes the ball, jinking past a few players, cuts it back to Tierney, who takes a touch and shoots it into the right side of the net. Just outstanding all round. Players willing to take on players. That is something we've not seen for a long time. Long may it continue.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole front four were doing this as well, Derek. Every single one of them looked a threat, and every single one of them was feeding as well. So it was brilliant to watch.
Yep. Triple sub on the 65th minute. Igman, Tierney and Danilo off. Dessers, Barami and Dowell on. And not long after that, on the 69th minute, we went 5-0 up. The ball played down the left to Jefty, who gets it to the touchline, cuts it back into the middle. A burst of pace by Dessers, who touches it into the net. It was flagged instantly for offside for Jefty, but a VAR check, a long VAR check again, and the goal was given. I've no idea why a VAR check was given because it was clearly onside as well. But that was brilliant from Dessers there. Don't take away the work that Jefty done there, but Dessers, who has got a habit of being offside so often, to see him running from behind the defenders, that burst of pace to get the ball and then more or less a tap in, it was brilliant.
When the offside decision came up, I instantly thought it was going to be on Dessers. And when I was watching the replay back, I thought there's no way, because it was well onside. What I was more surprised about was the fact that he hit the shot first time, because we all know what Dessers does. He loves to take a touch. He loves to try and beat a man, but for a change, hits the shot first time into the back of the net. Fantastic. 5-0. Couldn't ask for any more.
Well, yes, we could, because we got another one, Dave.
Yep.
But just before that, on the 74th minute, Raskin and Jefty off, Barron and Ridvan on. And on the 77th minute, we rounded out the scoring with Dessers making it 6-0. Lovely, simply lovely, I've put here. It was a fast sweeping, one-touch play, ending in Dowell flicking the ball forward to Tavernier on the right-hand side, who looks up, cuts it back to Dessers, who has a first-time shot into the back of the net. Just brilliant all round again.
First time shot. Look what happened. The set-up play was fantastic. As you say, the great ball for Dowell. And then James Tavernier looking like he's getting back to a really fantastic attacking option for us. It was a great pick out by him. not taking anything away by that. But again, Dessers, shot, goal, that's what happens, 6-0, tremendous.
Yep, so on cloud nine after that result, again, not getting carried away with the result. It was a fantastic result, but we've had a habit of getting great results and then the next game we've been poor. But that wasn't the case at all, because on Sunday, the 8th of December, we went away to Ross County in the Premiership and we won 3-0. And it was probably the most straightforward 3-0 win you've ever seen, Dave.
Yeah, it certainly was. And that's what we say, especially these away games. Last time we played up there, remember, was when we were well and truly in the league hunt, and then we made a complete backside of it when we went up to Ross County. So we didn't want a banana skin up there. We wanted, as you say, a straightforward, comfortable win, and that's exactly what happened. The manager only put one change to the team from that 6-0 victory over Kilmarnock, and that was Barron back in for Diomande. So the team was Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Jeffday, Barron, Raskin, Hadji, Cherney, Igman and Danilo on the bench. Kelly, Ridvan, Proper, Dessers, Diomande, Barami, Dibble, Sterling and McCausland. But what we were looking for, Derek, was an early goal to steady the ship. That's exactly what happened. We had a couple of chances before. 4th minute was a half chance. Good play by Jeffday on the left. He beats his man, gets to the byline, puts a ball into the back post to Cherney, who he's at a tight angle with shoots, but it's over the bar. Ross County had a half chance a minute after that, but then on the 6th minute, Rangers took the lead, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Like I said, on the front foot, and it was Jeffday on the left-hand side. He lays the ball off to Igman at the edge of the box. He just has a look up, takes a swivel to the right, and then just hits a poker straight shot, which is sort of up and over Ronaldo-esque. It did take a slight deflection on the way, but it didn't change the direction of the ball. It was still poker straight. I don't think the goalkeeper would have got to it anyway, but the way that it hit, it put a bit more dip into it, right over the goalkeeper into the far corner. Fantastic goal and a great start for Rangers.
I'm not even sure there was a deflection, Dave. There's still no clear evidence that it did. The trajectory of the ball says it might have taken a deflection, but you look back at all the pictures, I'm not too sure. If it was the slightest of the touches, even though the commentators on the TV were saying, it was a big deflection. No, it wasn't. So, yeah, but it was a cracking goal all the same.
Yep, it certainly was. A minute after that, almost a second, Igman involved again. Gets the ball at the edge of the box, back to Cherney. He shoots just inches over the bar. Jack Butland, heart in the mouth stuff, though, in the 17th minute. I don't know what he was doing, Derek. The ball at his feet, he seemed to stumble, or I'm not quite sure, but he kind of fell over the ball. The ball gets stuck under his foot. Last-ditch pass away from him. Manages to get the ball away. Don't do that again, Jack. Just get rid of the ball, please. The intensity dropped slightly for the sort of next 10 minutes. A couple of half chances. Great play by Hadji in the 29th minute. He's inside the box. He beats his man into Danilo. He shoots first time, but over the bar. Great chance for a second. Danilo with a tough ball. This in the 34th minute. Ball to Cherney on the right-hand side of the box. He runs through. He's running through into the goalkeeper. He is at a tight angle. He takes an extra touch. I thought he might have hit it first time. Tries to round the keeper. Goalkeeper manages to get a hand to it. I think he could have done better there, but it wasn't to be. But then on the 37th minute, just before half-time, we got our second goal. And talking about what happened with Jack Butland at the other end a few minutes ago, it was a goalkeeping blunder for Ross County, but take nothing away from Danilo. He kept chasing it. It was a pass back to the Ross County goalkeeper from their defender. He delays his kick, and Danilo just sort of sniffs out that there could be a bit of danger. He runs at the keeper. The keeper again delays, goes to kick the ball. It hits off Danilo, gets to the byline. Danilo keeps chasing it, taps it into the back of the net. Great awareness by Danilo. Like I said, obviously sniffed out that there was a wee half chance there, stuck to his guns, put the keeper under pressure, and there you go. It's 2-0 to Rangers. I
alluded to it on the post-match. It was like an old school FIFA game where you're charging down the keeper, taking a punt out. It never works, but in this occasion it did. Just great awareness. Brilliant from Danilo.
Yep, and that was perfect to get the second goal just before half-time. It makes the whole of the second half completely different, and that's what it was. Rangers just completely controlled the second half. 66th minute, goalmouth scramble resulting in John Souttar almost scoring with an outstretched foot. Ross County goalkeeper makes a great save and the ball is cleared. Really unlucky there. A couple of subs after that. Barami and Sterling on, Danilo and Cherny off. 75th minute, a cross into the box by James Tavernier. Eggman with the header, straight at the goalkeeper. Unlucky there. Maybe could have done slightly better. Couldn't say anything bad about the guy. He was excellent all game again. Another sub in the 80th minute. Dessers and Diomande on, Eggman and Barron off. And then on the 86th minute, we rounded out the goal scoring with a fantastic goal by James Tavernier. The ball is put into the box. It's headed back. It falls to James Tavernier just at the edge of the box. It takes a slight bounce, but he hits it on the half volley as sweet as you like, past the goalkeeper, into the back of the net. Tremendous finish by James Tavernier. 2 goals in 2 games. Tav was excellent all game, and we rounded out the goal scoring there at 3-0, Derek. An excellent, excellent goal.
It was a fantastic goal. Good to see Tavernier with his shooting boots back on, getting in those positions. The half itself as well, given the fact that we were 2-0 up, we were never in any danger whatsoever, other than one wee chance from that I can remember from Ross County. And that's the difference being 2-0 up at half time makes. You can have you can sit back, you can rest players, you can take your foot off the gas a wee bit. And what could have been a banana skin fixture, because we got that second goal, it taking the pressure right off the team, and just the icing on the cake was that third goal in the end there.
It certainly was. Excellent stuff. The only other thing that happened after that, we had another good chance to possibly have got the fourth, and it was Barami with a shot at the near post, but saved by the Ross County goalkeeper and out for a corner. But that's how the game ended up. Just a comfortable, straightforward victory where Rangers were just in complete control. That's what we're looking for. As supporters, obviously we want to go out and hammer teams, but even just to be able to do that, to be dominant in a game, score a few goals, never looking at any danger, that's what we've been looking for, and that's certainly what we got in that match.
Yes. So it was a good feel-good victory. It lined us up to the next game, which was Thursday, the 12th of December. It was at home against Tottenham in the Europa League Game 6, where we had a fantastic performance and a great result where we drew 1 each. Dave, I don't think anyone would have expected us to get a result from Tottenham for a start, but nobody in their right mind would have thought we would have went toe-to-toe with them, and arguably were the better team of the two.
Yeah, 100%. Before the game started, said to myself, look, if we can come out of this game being competitive, not getting our backsides handed to us, and come out with a positive showing, I'll be happy. Before the game, if you'd have said a draw, I would have bitten your hand off. But as usual, when I think like that, when it comes to Rangers, we end up going out and being the dominant team. And, you know, at the end of the game, as you say, actually a wee bit disappointed that we didn't win the match.
Yeah. So we lined up Butland, Tavernier, Souttar, Proper, Jeffrey, Raskin, Diamande, Barami, Cherny, Ridvan and Eggman. On the subs bench we had Kelly, Barron, Dessers, Cortez, Dowell, Sterling, Balogun, King, McCausland, Fraser, Rice and Curtis. So the quite interesting thing was no Barron. He had been a stalwart in our midfield for all season really, but he got dropped, which was unusual, I thought. Yeah,
it was. I mean, he was out for the 6-0 game against Kilmarnock at Ibrox. He sat out that one. We thought it was possibly just to give him a wee rest, but out for that game as well. And as you say, he's been excellent for us this season. But going on what you're about to get into, Derek, we can't say that it was a bad move by the manager, because the players that he put out were outstanding, every single player.
Yeah, obviously 2 enforced changes with Danilo and Hadji not being in the European squad. But anyway, it was a very bright start from us. We were chasing every ball, pressing and some nice movement, playing with tempo, trying to get the ball behind the Spurs defence as well. In the 8th minute, there was a shot from Spurs from the left side, went well over the bar. 10th minute, a lovely sweeping move up the park with one-touch triangle football ending in Cherny sliding the ball to Barami on the right-hand side of the box, who has a shot, and the keeper puts it just over the bar. And the shot was actually going in, Dave, so it was really unlucky that. 11th minute, a ball eventually cleared from the corner out to Barami, who has a shot from outside the box, but he skies it. 12th minute, Spurs with a shot after the ball down the left. Raskin pointing to the other defenders to mark a player. Nobody does. He doesn't make the run back either. They get behind their defence and they have a shot, but it was a team effort and easy for Butland. 15th minute, Raskin loses possession in midfield. Spurs break up the park. They were dallying about with it, but they got a shot off and it was a good block by the defender out for the corner. 23rd minute, a nice move, but breaks down after a cut back in the box. 25th minute, lovely long ball from the left to the right to Tierney, just inside the box, who has a shot and makes the keeper pull off a good save. 26th minute, Tierney in the middle, out wide to Jeffrey, who plays a stunning ball across the goal. Barami only had to stick his leg out and it was in. It was an open goal, basically. He just seemed to pull his leg back at the last minute and then the ball was eventually cleared. I don't know if it was just his stride, I don't know, but it was easier to score than miss, Dave.
It was a gilt-edged chance for him, especially at that stage, because we really were piling the pressure on it at that point, Derek, and it deserved a goal because, as you say, that ball from Jeffrey into the box was excellent. It's a part of his game, I think, that he has been working on. His final ball, that certainly was as perfect as you can get. And as you say, I don't know what Barami was thinking. I don't know if the weight and his momentum, he wasn't able to get a leg out. I don't know, but you would be expecting a player just to slide, put their foot out, because, as you say, it was going to be a certain goal.
Yep. 27th minute, Diamandi with a long shot just over. 32nd minute, Tierney with a shot from the right side just over the bar. 35th minute, Suter off and Balogun on. Now, Suter pulled up in the middle of the park. He had kicked the ball in the replay, and I don't know, some people are saying it's his Achilles. It looked as if it was maybe his groin. But, Dave...
His groin is what it looked like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the type of luck we carry. An absolute non-event, he just kicked the ball and something happens.
When you talk about players that have been consistent all season, John Suter's definitely one of them. He's been excellent for us, and a lot of people give him a hard time, but I really do think he's been really good for us this year, almost an ever-present, and if he's going to be out now, that's going to be a massive blow. And at that stage of the game, I thought to myself, well, if that's our main defender going, surely Tottenham will pile the pressure on. And I wasn't feeling confident as soon as he went off, Derek.
39th minute, Butland with a great close range save with his feet after the ball was played from the left in a shot inside the 6-yard box. It was ruled offside in any case. 41st minute, ball played in from Spurs, bounces in the box and flashes by the post. And to round out the half, 45th minute, the ball was fed to Tierney on the right, takes on his player, has a shot and a big save at the near post. So into half-time, delighted with the performance. I felt we've held our own, we've went toe-to-toe with them, we've played quick attacking football. We've never given them a chance on the ball as well. Every time we've lost the ball, we've been quickly on them to try and hunt the ball down again. And it was a breathless first half from both teams, actually, because it was end-to-end. There was a lot happening each time. It was just a great advert for football at that point. I wasn't bothered about that, mind you, because I was more bothered about our team.
You're quite right. It was a pulsating first half. The good thing for me was I knew that we weren't going to be pushed about. I knew that we were going to be on the front foot, and that's exactly what we were looking for. We're just hoping that we could get the breakthrough in the second half.
Yes. So more of the same we were looking for, and boy did we get it, because on this 47th minute, Eggman made it 1-0. Tavernier went down the right. He looked up, a fantastic cross into the middle, which bounces, and Eggman, who shoots it first time into the back of the net. Amazing, Dave.
Yep, you're talking about a cross, Derek. Again, the best of James Tavernier. You know, a player that we've been waxing lyrical about in the last 3 games. That ball into Eggman was sensational. The vision, the technique, everything, the weight of the pass was just perfect. And then Eggman, that's a tremendous finish by a player. His confidence is sky high just now. A tremendous finish by him. And Ibrox just went absolutely crazy. Just fantastic stuff.
And once again, Dave, that back cam in Ibrox, what a camera.
Yeah, no, it's cool as anything, the way that it goes along the top of the club deck and looks out over the whole stadium. It was just great. It shows Ibrox to be the absolute world-class stadium that it is, and the fans, it just looked absolutely sensational.
Yep. 49th minute, Tierney with a shot at the right side, forcing the keeper to make a save at his near post. 52nd minute, lovely play out from the back, ending in Ridvan running about 50-60 yards, getting the ball to Tierney in the box, who cuts inside a couple of times, and he was about to shoot. He might have just actually got the shot off, but it was blocked right at the last minute. Really unfortunate, that one there, because it was a stunning move. 54th minute, Spurs down the right, a cut back to the middle and a shot over the bar. 57th minute, a short corner from the right, worked into the box. We were nearly able to walk it into the net, but it was snuffed out just at the last minute. 58th minute, Deal with a shot off the ground and deflected off the defender and out for the corner. So that was one of these occasions where if you just have a shot, even if you've not got a clear vision of the goal and somebody's in your way, it deflected, it could have went into the back of the net, it got deflected out for the corner, so we'll take that. 59th minute, a long ball towards our goal. Jeffrey headers the ball at the last minute. Butland had already come out. He managed to get the ball just inside his box. That was a dangerous one, that one there. A wee bit of communication need to work on that one there, but fortunately we got away with it. 61st minute, a corner from Spurs, punched away by Butland to the player outside the box who half volleys it. I think they had brought on 3 substitutions at that time, and it was one of the substitutions that was his first touch to half volley. 64th minute, Spurs with a free kick at the edge of the box, went well over the bar. Spurs were getting on top of us at that point. We looked as if we were absolutely knackered. We had sat off them, and we had put so much effort into the game at that point. You can understand why we were starting to sit off. 64th minute, Spurs with a free kick on the edge of the box. It went well over the bar. On the 66th minute, they were on the left, a cross into the back post. It was a little high, but their attacker managed to control it. There was no challenge from us, and he gets a snapshot off, and it was saved by the feet of Butland again. 68th minute, we did make a change, a double change. Barami and Tierney off, Barron and Sterling on. Tierney was outstanding this game, and a couple of people, I think they were just attention seeking, said that Tierney was rubbish, but no, he was outstanding, causing them causing them so much trouble down that wing. You can understand why he came off, save him for the weekend, maybe the more important game. But you had seen it coming, and on the 75th minute, Spurs made it 1 each. A lot of patient play. We sat off them. They cut down the right-hand side. A nice ball into the right-hand side of the box, past their defenders. It was a cut back and a long shot placed into the back of the net. Could Butland have done a wee bit better?
No,
potentially.
You took the word right out of my mouth there, Derek. I was about to ask you the same thing, and you beat me to it.
Yeah, potentially he's got this issue with diving down at his left-hand side when it's a low shot. I don't know. It seemed to go just under him. I don't know. That would be maybe doing the shot and the actual move a disservice, because you had seen it come in. It was a good move. We can only say that, Dave.
It was a good move. It was well executed, but it wasn't a thunderbolt, Derek. It wasn't placed directly in the corner as far away from the goalkeeper as possible. It was more sort of stroked into the net, passed into the net, and it looked a lot closer to Butland, and that's what I thought when I saw it. I thought, could he have done better? And you know me, Derek, I'm Butland's biggest fan, but going by what we've seen in the past, I think if Jack Butland looks back at that goal, he'll be disappointed that he never got a hand to it.
Given the fact he had a few big saves in the game as well, I'm not going to take that away from him. So, and from there, it seemed to spur us on even more. I would have said you would have been forgiven if you would have thought Tottenham were going to steamroll us for that point, but I think we galvanised from that. We seemed to take heart from it. 79th minute, it was nice control in the middle by Raskin, out wide, ending in Sterling down the right, a deep cross into the back post and a header back across goal and wide. 79th minute, Igman and Ridvan off, Dessers and the youngster Fraser on. Now Igman had picked up a wee knock there, so I don't know if that was maybe just protecting him. Clement has said in the presser that we'll just need to wait and see with that one. Maybe a bit of gamesmanship there, mind games with the not wanting to give the game away there. 82nd minute, a nice move with Diomande in midfield. Nice footwork to work the ball to the left. Nice play by Jeffrey, who puts a good cross into the box, but it was gathered by the keeper. 85th minute, Dessers with some lovely skill. He kind of chests it down. He turns the defender. He gets a shot off. I thought it was in. I screamed and I was cheering, but it got deflected wide because it was a fantastic save. Fraser Forster. That keeper is just immense. Sometimes he really is. He's been the bane of our life so many times. I initially thought, could Dessers have had a wee bit more composure? But I watched it back just before we started this podcast, Dave. No, it was just a fantastic save. Dessers done everything right. It was great skill to knock it down for himself. He created that chance, don't forget that one there. And he'd done everything right because he was going to the left and he shot it back across to the right. It's just because Fraser Forster is just a big, massive troglodyte and he had the legs to deflect it wide. But unlucky that one there, Dave.
It was a sensational skill by Dessers. We've seen him do it time and time again. It was an outstanding save, but I was still absolutely gutted that he never scored because he did all the legwork. He'd done it all for himself to get the space and to get the shot away, and just more disappointment that the ball didn't end up in the back of the net than anything else.
2 minutes later, he did actually have the ball in the back of the net, but three of our players were miles offside, so can't have any much arguments about that one there. And more or less to round out the game, Spurs had a chance on the 90th minute where the ball was on the left-hand side. The cross was dinked in. Solanke with a glancing header from close range. There was no power and it was right at the keeper. I think Tavernier done something to block the shot as well, so he done really well that one there. There was 3 minutes of injury time. We had a free kick deep in the Spurs half. The referee blew for full time before he even allowed us to take it, which is poor refereeing. Another piece of dodgy refereeing as well, I thought, in that injury time as well. Not that it would have made much of a difference given how late it was, but a Spurs player made a foul deep in their half as well. The referee went to his pocket, seen who the player was, and then put cards back in his pocket because he realised that the player had already been booked and that was a sending off. Now, I'm all for, Dave, referees giving players the benefit of the doubt, but when he had clearly made up his mind about that being a yellow card worthy foul, he's clearly seen the player has already on a book and decided against it. Sorry, Dave, that's against the rules of the game. If it's a foul, a yellow card worthy foul, it's a yellow card worthy foul.
100%, 100%.
But it wouldn't have changed the game anyway. But Dave, absolutely proud of the team last night. It was an immense performance. It was beyond my expectations. We all thought we were going to get hammered. To come away with a point was outstanding. Tottenham feel as if they've actually won the game with that one there, and I think they've more or less said so because they weren't good at all. But that was largely because we went toe-to-toe with them. And we more than matched them. We outclassed them at times as well last night. It was a joy to see. Europa League Thursdays, I love them, Dave.
It's exactly what it is. I listen a lot to Talk Sport, Derek, and I've listened a lot today. And to be fair, it wasn't your usual arrogant sort of English media. They all know that Tottenham got away with one last night. They all knew that Rangers were the dominant team. They all knew that Rangers put in an excellent performance. So it was excellent. And like I said, if you'd have said to me before the game, would you take a 1-1 draw? I would have, of course I would have been absolutely delighted with that. But I think we did deserve it in the end with the clear-cut chances that we made and some excellent performances. And Nicholas Raskin, who I think got man of the match, was outstanding, been excellent the past few games. Derek, it's great to see him get back to the form and the potential that we all knew that he did have, and going toe-to-toe with an outstanding team like that. We just hope and pray that he continues that going forward.
Yes, so there's a wee break with the European games, I think, until January now. So we're sitting in 8th position. We're on 11 points, which is outstanding considering the games we've had as well. The much harder games than some of the Champions League draws anyway. 2 games to go. Sitting on 24th position just now, which is the last team that can get into the playoffs, is sitting on 7 points. So really, out the last 2 games, we're looking for a point, and that should really just confirm it. Man United are a bit of a basket case. I would have liked my chances maybe at the start of the season against them, but that's another free hit. Go down there and see what we can do. USG as well, I think they're on 8 points or 7 points, so we'll see what happens, Dave. It's all in our hands. We've done more than enough, I would have said just now, so the fact that we can still reach that top 8 is absolutely remarkable given the group we've had, so happy with that.
Definitely. And our European performances yet again, it's just been like watching a completely different team, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And saying that now, the last few games in Scotland, we've started to turn a corner now. So maybe last 4-5 games, we've actually been really good. With maybe the St Johnstone game apart, we were in control of the game completely, but it was, a bit turgid at times. But I'll take that anyway. So it lines us up for the next games. Probably the most vital game that we've got so far. Sunday the 15th of December. It's at Hampden in the League Cup final against Celtic. That's a 15:30 kick-off. That's a must-win game. It's not negotiable, that one there. Saturday the 21st of December. That's in the Premiership. That's at home against Dundee. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off. Thursday the 26th of December. Away against St Mirren in the Premiership. That's a 17:45 kick-off. And to round out December, Sunday the 29th of December. That's away to Motherwell in the Premiership. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off as well. And we've got the traditional 2nd of January fixture. That's a Thursday at home against Celtic in the Premiership. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off as well. So another vital run of games we've got, Dave, as usual.
It is, yes. And this game on Sunday, absolutely massive. We really can't have set ourselves up with a better chance. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to stay realistic. But going by the way that we played last night, we've got to replicate that for Sunday. We've got to use that as a springboard to show how we can play against a top team. They've got a hold over us at the moment, and we need to break that. So we just need to go out and put on a performance, every single player, and fingers crossed we can do it finally.
That's the thing I said in the post-match, Dave, is last night's performance was the benchmark now. We know what the players can do now. Tottenham are by far a better team than Celtic, so we've got absolutely nothing to fear against Celtic. And where our downfall's been the last couple of years against them is we've sat off them. We've allowed them to play. We've allowed them to dictate the tempo and the way we play. See, as soon as we get in their face, up the tempo, chase every ball, they are a non-entity of a team. And yes, they have got good players. They work as a unit. They are a good team. I'll say that from the outset. They are a good team. But we can make them look ordinary if we just get in their faces. And that's the thing that I hope we do on Sunday. But anyway, Dave, that'll take care of itself. We will now go into the news. So a bit more to cover than last time we did a podcast anyway. As much as we've secured our CEO, who is starting on Monday, the chairman has been more problematic as talks with the frontrunner Malcolm Offord apparently have stalled, and he's allegedly no longer in the running. So the saga is going on even longer than it really should have, Dave.
It is. What my hope is, Derek, is when our new CEO starts on Monday, things will start to become a bit more streamlined, especially hiring of higher rank profile people within the club. I'm hoping that he's going to have a huge part in that, and things will be a lot more straightforward than it has been before. I don't know the ins and outs of the talks and how things have broke down, Derek. We just have to hope that a suitable replacement is found, and as I've said before, it's streamlined. He can get in there and we can get the club moving forward in the right direction as quickly as possible, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one.
The AGM was on the 5th of December, so just after the Killie game. The morning of, the Fans Advisory Board hit out at club chiefs as they stated that they still hadn't released minutes from a meeting they had with the finance officer, James Taylor, a month prior. So I don't think it normally takes a month for minutes of meetings to get out there, Dave. So a bit of a strange one there. You understand why the Fans Advisory Board said on the morning of the AGM, puts a wee bit of pressure on the board. Again, goes towards the governance of our club just now. Basic things such as minutes not getting released is poor, and it leads into the fact that there's a lack of transparency there, or certainly the perception of a lack of transparency anyway.
Yeah.
Weirdly, we're covering this today, and it turns out that they were actually just released today as well. So it's even taken them more than a week later to get the minutes out after that there. So I don't know what the issue was there, but from what I can see, it's all standard stuff. There's nothing revelatory in them anyway. So don't know what the hold up was there.
No.
The AGM itself, though, was probably one of our more constructive ones in recent years. There was 7 resolutions. Results came a week later and they all passed. So it was basically just really to do with voting people back onto the board and remuneration and nonsense like that. All company issued things. The next AGM, they plan to have a full board restructure so that those that were going to get voted back in this year, they were only taking 1-year terms, so that all board members next year will get a chance to get voted in, because apparently what they do is they all take 2-year terms. Half the board got voted 1 year and the next other half of the board get voted the next year. So that'll all line it up, and that kind of leads into what John Gilligan said in his chairman's statement. Basically, a bit of a mea culpa, admitting everything that went wrong. They appreciate that they've not done things right. There's been issues with the club and the way we've been run, and they plan to have a new board in place in the coming year, apparently, or so. And they've kind of admitted before that the board is made up of investors rather than non-investors. So that's what they're going to try and change for the next term, is get a kind of mixture of investors and non-investors in there as well. So that there's that mix of experience and football-minded people in there. Clement, after talking a lot of shit in most recent pressers, he actually came across very well in his comments, and he did actually state as well, which I thought was quite funny, is he never told the team to give it their all in the Killie game so that it would give him an easier time in the AGM. Strangely, Dave, pertinent and pressing questions were actually asked at the relevant times. The only issue some people had was that the guy who offered Bisgrove his holiday home in last year's AGM, he asked 6 questions in one. I think people were moaning at that for the sake of moaning, to be honest, because they were all relevant questions and it was all about the Copeland works. Some of the questions could be answered and were answered. Some of them couldn't be, apparently. So he asked the question about the punishment. Who is getting punished for that? Is there any compensation for that? And apparently that they can't go into that because it's all part of the building contract. So I don't know what's the situation there. It turns out that it's cost us 6 figures for Hampden. Now, it's unclear if that's just the fees to rent, or is that the fees that we've lost in catering and hospitality as well. I don't know. It wasn't clarified that there. And they also confirmed that it was true from the accounts that we only got £800,000 for 4 players leaving the club in the summer. It was effectively the cost of getting rid of them, cancelling their contracts and wages, etc. And there was loud gasps in the crowd at that one there. No wonder, Dave, that in any walk of life, I don't care which way you split it, if it was getting rid of their contracts or what, that is a ridiculous fee to get in. An absolute joke of a fee, and anybody in a normal company should be getting a job for that, Dave.
It was absolutely criminal, considering the amount of money that we had paid not long before that to bring them into the club. It was absolutely criminal. I don't know how on earth any of it managed to get passed, how it was all agreed, because they all knew it would come out in the accounts. It's unforgivable in my eyes to have, these 4 players. And I realise that they would all have been on large wages and stuff like that, but to hardly get transfer fees for any of these guys, considering that a few of them had been top performers for us in the past, it's just, I keep saying it's absolutely criminal. It's unforgivable, and it just shows the absolute shambles of the people that were running the club when all this went through, if they thought that was acceptable for that to happen. Really, really poor stuff.
I mean, I can appreciate why maybe Cantwell, for instance, we got a lesser fee for him because he maybe had a few years left in his contract, but he's publicly, and maybe this is a fault of Clement, which I defended him for at the time, but Cantwell's wanted away. So there was the bargaining chip straight away from us, because it's not like a club's come in for him and we are reluctant to sell him. He's actively wanting to leave the club. We need to get him off the books because he's an unhappy player. But the likes of Lammers, where I think we paid maybe about £4 million for him.
Yep.
Now, granted, we wouldn't have paid that all up front. Some of the money we got back in for him would have needed to go back out and pay the other instalments. That's understandable. However, I would have liked to think that we would have commanded a lot more than what we actually paid for him, considering when we bought him, he was maybe a bit of a hit and hope. He wasn't hitting numbers, whereas he's went out on loan. He's went to another club in the same league he went out on loan in. He hit the ground running there and scored an absolute barrel load. I would have liked to thought we would have at least been able to command a few £1 million more than what we paid for him. So that's a strange one, that one there. But they all know the player trading model has to exist for a start, because it hasn't existed. It's always been talked about. It needs to start happening. So we'll need to see how that transpires in the coming years.
Yeah.
However, after the AGM, not long after, it only happened this week, Karim Varane has quit his role as Chief Commercial Officer to pursue new opportunities. He joined the club last summer. He hasn't been in the post that long enough, to be honest, to really form a full impression of him. But I'm at the stage, Dave, I don't care now, because he's not made a lasting impression, as I've said. Is it a good thing now that a new CEO is coming in? We've got various other executive positions like that need filled. Start afresh. That's maybe the way to go, Dave.
I'm hoping, like I said, Derek, with the CEO, with the connections that he's got, that I'm hoping that there's possibly already been people targeted, approached for various roles in the club. That's what I'm hoping. But again, it's one of these things that we just need to wait and see what pans out.
Yep. Next thing here, Celtic, Rangers and Motherwell have all been charged by the SPFL over the flares at the semi-finals. Did it delay the games? Yes. Did it look good? Yes. Could it cause issues with people with respiratory conditions? Quite probably. But what is the solution, Dave? I mean, I'm one of these people that it looks good, it's a good spectacle, but if it's going to get the club into trouble, get them fined, then I don't see a place for it. And the problem is, how's it going to stop? Go and tell me a solution. I don't think you can start then docking points or anything like that, because that just doesn't work. And there's so many ways that could be corrupted as well. SPFL have obviously came out with a statement just before the game on Sunday saying that it's not acceptable, it's illegal, blah, blah, blah. No issues with that at all. You're going to start fining clubs, right, fine. I think some fans need to toe the line with this one now. You can maybe try and get away with it in some walks of life, in some areas outside the ground or what have you. But if it's going to start affecting the club, and yeah, it might be only 10 grand here, 60 grand here, it all adds up, Dave. It all adds up. But this is what we're talking about with David Tanner earlier on. That he's went off his rocker on Twitter again, and he'd done that before. I can't remember what it was. It was maybe the Dundee game when we got done for flares as well. But he's talking about the fact that they're illegal. And I was like, right, what do you suggest the authorities do then? And I said, like a great many things, you can tell people they're illegal all you want. It won't stop them. So then he's came back with many great things like what? Murder, crack cocaine, armed robbery. Do let us know and we'll have the law scraped to suit those that feel entitled to break it. Then grow up. David, sit down before your blood pressure skyrockets. Completely not comparable and idiotic to even do so. And for the supposed media type not understanding great many things I was meaning in the context of amount, that's pretty poor. He says, your disrespectful gibberish is typical of juvenile ramblings of overgrown toddlers who want to play with fireworks in crowded places like stadia. You always take the huff when reminded it is illegal. Grow up. By the way, I'm not a supposed media type. I am a media type.
I think that's the bit that really, that really hurt him there, Derek. The supposed bit. I think that's the bit that really, really annoyed him more than anything else. How dare you?
I mean, what he's trying to do there is trying to compare other crimes like murder to the use of pyrotechnics. What kind of fucking idiot do you need to be to do that? There are various crimes out in the world, and there are varying punishments depending on the severity of the crime. Murder, you get life in jail. In America, you get a lot more, and that's the way it should be over here, in my opinion. But you get life in jail. For a flare, what are you going to get, Dave? A slap on the wrist, because it's not comparable in the slightest. Nobody is talking about, yes, we all like flares, let's make them legal or anything like that. I think there needs to be an adult conversation, and it's people like David Tanner and the cronies at the SFA and the SPFL that do not like to have adult conversations, whether it be about flares, whether it be about sectarian singing, whether it be about alcohol in the stadiums. They're so set in their ways. They're dinosaurs of the game. They're the ones that are preventing the game going forward. Does the issue with flares need addressed? Absolutely. But instead of actually looking at solutions and looking at other ways of going about it, they completely shut down. They refuse to speak to people about it. They refuse to have adult conversations about it. And for him to come away with nonsense like that, then get personal, then I said to him, you're making an arse of yourself now. I admitted to him, I'm not a big fan of Pyro myself, but you've jumped in there 2 feet with a notion that just because I'm actually trying to have a wee bit of back and forward with you with this and say people are still going to do it regardless if it's legal, which is correct, because people still carry out murders, even though it's completely illegal, Dave. That's what the guy doesn't seem to understand. So, he tried to call me name calling, but, he's completely name called himself. He's shown himself up to be an absolute arsehole in this one here, Dave. I've no time for people like that. And if you want to have adult conversations about flares, by all means, have adult conversations. All I was trying to say to him there, Dave, is what are the authorities going to do about it? Go and give us a solution, because it's going to keep going on. And people like that can't see that.
Their automatic solution, Derek, these supposed media types, is just to make sure the clubs get punished. That's what it comes down to. Punish the clubs, punish the clubs, punish the clubs. It's, as you say, it's not going to stop certain people doing it. The only way that it would be stopped is if every single person was searched going into a ground. That's never going to happen. I don't want it to happen. That's the only way it would stop, really, unless the clubs were to have serious talks with the major fan groups in the stadium, and they were to come to some sort of agreement, and then it gets dealt with in house. That's the only way that I could see getting rid of it. David Tanner, I don't know what he was thinking about the fact he said that you were name calling because you said that he was making an arse of himself as a joke for one, because it certainly wasn't you calling him an arse. He said he was making an arse of himself, which is quite incredible as well. A guy that went in the huff, he basically posted this thing, Derek, to try and be controversial so that he could get as many people reposting it or trying to comment it and stuff like that. And it's certainly, I think it's backfired on him big time. As you say, I am not a fan of anything that is going to get the club into trouble, whether it be pyrotechnics, whether it be messages on billboards that fans are bringing in, stuff like that. I'm not a fan of anything that's going to get the club into trouble. Do I see a major problem with it personally myself? No, because it's a spectacle. But if somebody did get hurt or it was to cause an issue for certain fans, then of course I would be against it. But going by what you've said, I agree. There's no straightforward answer to this, and I think it would have to be done in-house. That's how I think that you would actually be able to control it.
I mean, here's the thing that, and I've said it before when we've been talking about this, is I think it was Brøndby that were trying to develop safe flares. The problem with safe flares is I think they still burn at an astronomical temperature, so they're less harmful than normal flares. However, with modern technology, with LEDs, with the powerfulness of LED lights these days, I don't understand why there can't be the footballing authorities get together to collectively and look into doing something like that. Would it stop all flares? Maybe not. Would it stop smoke grenades? I don't know, Dave. But this is the problem with the football authorities nationwide, European-wide, worldwide, actually. They see a bad thing, that's ban it. Banning things doesn't stop the problem, because as you've seen, alcohol's banned in stadiums, it still gets in. Drugs are banned in stadiums, drugs are banned in life, still gets in. So just because you tell somebody it's illegal doesn't mean it's actually going to stop the problem. But anyway, that'll be an issue that no doubt will rumble on and rumble on. Next thing here, the licensing board of Glasgow City Council have allowed Rangers to sell alcohol in a marquee in the fan zone for the Spurs game there and for the up-and-coming Old Firm game at Ibrox in January. So that's an interesting one, that one there. I think Celtic have actually had that previously as well, so that's thankfully good from the Glasgow City Council there. And the last piece of footballing news I've got here is Aberdeen had their AGM a short time ago as well, and they disclosed that they were frustrated at the length of time it's taken the SPFL tribunal to agree compensation payment for Connor Barron. I hate to admit it, and I actually agree with them in this case. It again highlights the complete incompetence of the SPFL executive. However, we did offer them a more than fair £500,000 at the time. They would have had their money by now if they just accepted that fair deal. So they can't complain too much on that one.
No, and as I say, we'll wait and see what happens with that one. But as you say, it might have been in their best interest to take that when it was offered at the time. But again, it's something that we'll have to wait, and they'll probably have to wait a very, very long time until a decision is actually made.
Yep. So, it's now time for Fesshole Corner. Just did the longest, biggest, most satisfying shit ever. Wanted to take a photo. I was that proud of it. But all I could think of that if something happened to me, it would be the last photo taken on my phone that my relatives would find. Redecorating the living room and got lots of flat pack furniture to put together. Came home from work and the wife had gotten a handyman in to put it all together. Beyond insulted and hurt by this, I've been loosening bolts and screws by a quarter turn every day so that it all collapses. That's a good one, that. My other half caught me feeling his arse while he was asleep. He thought I was trying to get frisky. Really, he had just done the most horrific fart and I was checking he had not shat himself. On my favourite dog walking route, my dog was searching the corner of a garden. A lady came out of her house to get in her car. I nervously smiled and said, "He's just sniffing your bush." Dog walk route amended.
Oh dear.
On honeymoon, got blind drunk on sangria, disorientated during the night, used a cupboard as a toilet, had no memory, terrible smell in the room, opened the cupboard and saw a pile of poo and screamed. Woke husband, claimed it was a wild animal. We both knew, we never referred to it again. A girl with strict parents snuck me into her house one night. I went to the toilet to keep the volume down on a fart I had brewing. Pulled my arse cheeks apart so they would make a gentle hiss. Unfortunately, it actually amplified the fart tenfold. The night ended poorly.
Oh, it's the toilet humour ones that are the best, Derek. It definitely is.
When I was a teenager, I got off with a girl in my dad's greenhouse. I thought I'd got lucky, but it turns out my hand was just in a pile of warm compost the whole time. And to round it off with a football-related one, my son's been getting lippy about how good he at FIFA is. I've just battered him 8-1. He's gone upstairs crying. That's how you parent your kids.
Too right. Too right.
So on that note, we will end the podcast. So Dave, it's been a delightful podcast for a change. I just hope that the next one doesn't start off with a poor result on the winning Sunday.
I know, it's like I said, it's probably the highest point of our mood of the season so far. We've had a couple of good results in Europe, but the last three performances have been excellent. Lots of goals to talk about. A big change in the team. We spoke about it. Change in formation, change in tactics, change in personnel. Everything seems to be clicking. We've just got to hope and pray that continues for Sunday and we put on a performance and we get the victory against them. So fingers crossed.
Yes. So all that's left to say is thanks for listening and goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.